Yes, yes, yes. Another marketing made easy. No, it's actually not that. That was the old show. It's heart-centered marketing. It just shows you where my mind is at. I've got so much content here I've been looking at, and it's amazing to see all of the progression that we've made up to this point. We've been on the air doing this for, wow, close to 4 years, I think it is. So welcome to Heart-Centered Marketing, and thank you for being here. My guest is going to be arriving just a few minutes late, which is not late, which is, yeah, just showing up just a little bit after 7 o'clock because we are getting prepared for this amazing conversation today about the blueprint to make recurring revenue, that kind of thing. A thing that is a little bit more with the conversation we're going to have today is going to get real and raw. So this is not one of those topics where it's all about the hoopla. It's all about the flash in the pan and all these things, and it's not this hyped guru marketing thing. Marcos and I are going to talk a little bit about the realism of what it takes to actually build revenue, recurring revenue, and in your business. So thank you for being here. Hey, Marcos, there you are. I don't see you. Yeah, you got to get into the green room. So you are on the broadcast, but in the green room. So hit that link that I gave you in their calendar. Should be in there, unless I totally messed up. For those of you who are here, let us know with the hashtag replay or hashtag live if you're here. There he is. Okay, let me just see if I can bring Marcos in. Hopefully all my audio and settings here work. Yeah, I don't see. Hang on a minute. Forgive me. I just set this stuff up. 1 second. All of these. Hang on, bro. Because each one of these scenes need to be set up. And there's people are seeing behind the scenes of like what goes on. Okay, so there, I think I have you on all the scenes now. Okay.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Good to
That's
see you here,
awesome.
bro.
It's always good to see you. I'm pretty sure I love you as a human, and I love talking and speaking with you.
Likewise, man. I know I love you, man. Like you were I think we met. I don't know when we officially met, but I do remember this one time. I think it was down at Impact Kitchen with Geo, and you turned to me and you were like, "Dude, I look up to you," and you gave me this big praise or something like this about being a Kajabi and that you were following me, and it was like, I mean, yeah, speak to my ego, that'll get me right. But at the same time, it was like, wow, this total respect for this person because I've seen you and I've watched you, and you were like in my world of like, wow, look at that dude, and then you turn around and give me that compliment. I was like immediately in love. Like this is my bro. This is my bro. So
I
you
love that.
remember that day, right? I'm pretty sure you
I
did.
do, I do. And the thing, like with you, is because I've been on Kajabi now for 8, 9 years. Like your name has been popping up in the Kajabi circles, like so much. Joey Ragona, Joey Ragona, Joey Ragona, and the value that you add and the consistency. It was always just like it gave you a reputation. So when I was like, oh shit, that's Joey Ragona, the Joey Ragona.
And that's exactly what you said. You made it like, dude, I'm just, like, wow. So anyway, like I appreciate you. I thank you. The community loves you. The Academy tribe, we had you in there doing some epic work with us. And I know that everybody just loves and adores what you talk about and the energy that you bring to everything. You do so much, man. So for those, I mean, this is your first time on this live. For those of people who don't know you, can you just give us a real quick summary like of what you do, like, and you've won Speaker Slam like a billion times because of the stuff that you bring to that. Just share with us who Marcos is.
Yeah, like I like to think of myself as an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody that prioritizes their creativity as as the primary vehicle for all things that I contribute to the world. And I love that title, because I am an entrepreneur, but I do lead from the art and the heart. The word art is in heart. Like there is that connection that I have. And as a self-proclaimed etymologist and wordsmith, it makes sense for me to go out into the world and say, I'm an entrepreneur. I lead from the heart. I use creativity as my primary contribution. And, inside of that, under the umbrella of entrepreneurialism, it just so happens that I play piano, and it just so happens that I make beats, and it just so happens that I teach, and it just so happens that I consult, and it just so happens that I write, and it just so happens that I coach, and it just so happens that I build, and it just so happens, and I was and I it's a fascinating existence. um Very, very frustrating, to be honest. Like, the artist's life is not hard, because it's almost like, I always imagine it as like there's this portal, this portal coming down from heaven or from like the universe, that's like created this like channel of light into my crown. It's just this open fucking portal that never closes. It never fucking closes. And it's just like, download, 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 download. And because I have ability, like with the camera and the lighting and the books and the writing and the piano and the beats and it's just like my whole life is just like, I'm like this technician that is constantly using creativity to cause creation, to take ideology and manifest it into practicality. And it's like, bro, I'm just like, I am that guy. I'm an entrepreneur.
Truly are, man. And your honesty and vulnerability, it's just your soul shines everything you do. I love that, man, about you. So I know that everybody who doesn't know you is going to be a big fan by the end of this conversation. Hi, Lorna. Nice to see you, by the way. And feel
What's
free,
up,
by
Lorna?
Marcos, hopefully you can see the comments as well on your side, so you can
I
jump in
see
and
them
answer
show.
whatever's
I see
coming
them
up.
show up. I don't see, like, it says chat privately with the host. Oh, there we go. Let me
You
see.
see
Lorna,
it?
let me know if this works. Lorna, let me know if that works.
Don't know. Yeah, I don't see any coming through, but you can, at least you can see them, right? The
Yeah, I see
comments.
them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Or maybe you commented on Facebook, not
Oh, I
through
commented on
eCat.
the right bar. There's like a
Oh,
sidebar with a message.
huh. Okay, didn't go through.
That's okay. Maybe it's just a little delay, because I do have a little bit of lag on my end.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Oh,
But
you know
yeah,
what,
no.
bro? I see. You know what you did? You actually responded in the interview
Oh,
chat.
privately? Okay.
Yeah, you
There we
you
go.
sent it to
Comment.
me. So if you do in the where you see the comments, you can see add comment.
Yeah, it doesn't say that for me. It feels like, it looks like it's cut off. Like at the
Can you
bottom,
open
there's
up
no like.
the? Can you drag the window to see more? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all good. You can
Yeah,
comment like on.
I
Um,
can speak.
yeah, you can speak. That's for sure. What are we speaking about, man? Like you and I. Oh man, when we kind of have chats, we get into one topic. I mean, this came about from, I think, a tax conversation that we were having, like a corporate tax conversation, into we should talk about this other thing, right? So bring us up to date. Like, why are we here? What are we going to talk about today? What are we going to riff about, man?
The first thing I want is like, who's in the room. Like, I would love to know that. Like, if there's four people here, who are those four people? Introduce yourselves. Join the conversation as a part of the conversation, so that I can know. It's like, I'm speaking to Mike, I'm speaking to Lorna, I'm speaking to Samantha, and I'm speaking to Jesse. It's like, you guys are with us. We're gonna have a conversation. That's the first thing. I love identifying community members. That's a special thing for me, at least. My conversation is with you, but I like inclusion, right? I
Oh
like
yeah, 100%.
inclusion, right?
Yeah.
And besides that, like, with the inclusion in mind, when I think about the topic, I was in the shower there. That's why I was a minute late, because I was like, bro, I just got back from the gym. I didn't tell you, but I was like, I just got back from the gym. I was rushing. I was like, oh my god, I hate being late. Right? And I was just like, it was crazy. So I was in the shower, and it hit me what we should talk about. I was like, well, I know I think it's Tuesday, right? So it's
Yep.
like, I know it's an early week, but tell me what the last 3 posts that you made were. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about the last 3 things that we shared, and then take it from there, because that will give us context, right? And that's if you shared anything, because I'm assuming you did, because when I saw your Notion, and you hit me with this, like, you hit me with, like, that was impressive what I witnessed. And I was just like, it matched the impressiveness of mine. I was like, holy shit.
uh, yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny because I'm I'm constantly sharing things and answering questions and all that, and the day goes by so quickly. But one of the things that I just had a conversation with, which was an epic conversation, it was a private chat conversation, just helping someone through their clarity on really who their dream client is. And I know I talk about this a lot of times, and a lot of the questions I get or conversations I have is about meeting people who it's either one of two things. One is that they don't know who it is and they want help, and two is that they believe that they know who it is, but then I coach them through or ask them questions. They're like, "Holy crap! I never really realized that." So that was one big conversation, and I loved the breakthrough of that. And I'm just looking through, and I'm going to tell you because I'm going to go into my Notion and I'll find the content because here's one thing that I do, which is kind of a hack for anybody if they care. But when I'm engaging, I don't waste that time in terms of if I'm spending time responding to somebody and having a conversation, I copy and paste all that into my Notion, right? It's like I've already thought this process out, or not even thought the process, but have given from my soul and my heart. And it's like, why should I waste that? Because later on, I might want to go back to that and create something from that, whether it's a blog or a post or a video. So that's why I can go right into it and look at, what's today? What did I do? And pick out from the hundreds, not the hundreds, the few that I did, which would be, let's see here, recent. So the one of them are any advice on the first course. Wondering if anybody here would be willing to share extensively what they provide in their course. This is another one where uh, overwhelm with work that it takes to maintain the online business course. Those are ones I responded to as well. And another one was, does anybody run the same course over and over and over again, just adding live
Mm,
sessions? So these are like topics that I responded to.
powerful. As I'm hearing you speak, I'm realizing I'm obsessed with money. Like, I'm obsessed with the conversation about sales. That's like the generational curse of my family. Like, nobody's ever been a millionaire. In my family. Like, that to me, for some reason, like, I was put into this generation of fast paced influence, high intensity scrolling. That's what I would call my behavior with social media, like high intensity scrolling, and
Mm-hmm.
being an open channel that I am, it's just like scroll, inside, goal, buy. It's just like so fast, so intense, right? So it's like I'm noticing that with regards to the topic that you and I can riff about, it's like we can talk about anything. The reason why I talked about predictable revenue is because that's what my 6-week campaign is about. It's about generating predictable revenue for coaches. It's like I'm really sick and tired of coaches having these flip-flop careers, you
Right,
know,
right, right.
like so much. We can talk about the inauthenticity, but what leads you to inauthenticity in your coaching business is scarcity, right? And the reason why you're scarce is because you're being overpromised and underdelivered. Most people don't have the attention span. Most coaches don't have the grit. Most coaches don't have the capacity for the amount of creativity and concentration that is needed to put in the systems and the time and the money, and the belief and the devotion to make it work. And that's just the sad reality of it, is that it's a hard business. Like, these days, I always vouch, I'm a stand for coaches. So it's like, if you're a coach, if you're in the coaching industry, dude, like, did you come into this saying, I really want to be a marketer, a creator, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to invent things? No, you probably said, like, I just want to help people, I got a plaque on the wall and a story to tell and a story to support. Like, that's it. That's what most coaches come into the industry with, is that burning desire to help people. But then and those are the authentic ones. Then there's the other ones that are like, I just want freedom. I just want freedom. Oh man, do you have any idea how far from freedom this gig this is not freedom, okay? There's forms of freedom, but what it costs to have it You're trading your 9 to 5 for a 24/7 for the first 3 years. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, I'm such a stand for like the money conversation, the predictable revenue. It's like there are so many systems you can put in place to generate predictable revenue as a coach. And I love talking about it. I love those systems because it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how probable and possible it is to make these systems a reality. But a lot of people just stay comfortable, right? See,
Yeah.
Carol says, yeah, I just want to help people. It's true. The people in our industry, they just want to help people. But then it's like, then you got to wear this hat, 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 then you got to wear this hat. It's like, what the bomba class? Like, yo, I just want to help people.
It's so true. Like I remember a few years ago, it was actually more than a few years ago, it was a decade ago at least. And I said to myself, all I want to do is roll out of bed and get in front of people and just talk to them and help them, right? That was the dream. That was it. And and then I remember when I started coaching with Gio, he was like, "What do you want?" And I go, "I just want to roll out of bed. I just want to help people," right? And today that's kind of what I do, which is amazing, but it's not it wasn't just this magical thing overnight. And I still work a lot of hours, but I'm getting better at reducing the hours and all that. We can talk about that too. But what are do you want to share some of the predictable revenue ideas or methods with everybody? And please engage with us if you're here. This is epic. To get this guy, if you had to, dude, like how much do you charge per hour to work with you? Are
Well,
you
yeah, let's get into the first lesson.
like just I just want to frame the value of what people are getting here
I
to
love
have you
that. But
here to themselves for this hour,
let,
whatever it
let's
is.
just let's drop the mic on that. Okay. The first
Okay.
lesson for all these
Okay.
participants, for all these viewers, the first lesson to make it in the coaching is do not ever charge by the hour.
Okay,
Like,
hang on a minute. I gotta go fix my
you can
it's
evaluate
so true.
yourself
Yeah.
by the hour. You can evaluate, but the reality is, and I invite all my coaches to respond in the comment section, is like, does the transformation last after the hour? Does the
Right on.
transformation last? Is it probable to last? Does it stick? Does it become an embodied experience for the person after the hour? And the
Right.
reality based off of like brain chemistry is no. Even when you go to a Tony Robbins event and you're like psyched and hyped and you're like, whoa, I'm gonna change the world, I'm gonna change my life. You leave out of that container, that environment, and you go back to the same people and thoughts and habits, right? So
Hmm.
we don't charge by the hour because an hour isn't sufficient for the amount of devotion that is necessary in the container of what a coach can provide, right? So I strongly believe that. Now, what I charge, like, doesn't matter what I charge, but we know. I always say that there's so many ways to price your services, but it's like if I was to ask a potential client, like because I specialize in systems and sales, and it's like depending on the outcome, if we think about what is the outcome you want to generate in the next 6 months, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, I want to make $125,000, and you think I'm going to charge you 2,500 for that, right? Like, no, like for you to get access to the time, the energy, the experience, the value, the devotion, the accountability, the structure, the systems, for you to get access to all that, the investment is going to be at least a quarter of what your goal is, right? Now,
Nice.
that just and it just makes sense. It's like if you pay me $10,000, right? But to get access to the way of being, the knowledge, the skills, the self certainty, the confidence, the absolute relentlessness to go out into the world and have unlimited, unforgettable power to make as much money as you want within the next 6 months, would you pay the $10,000? Right? So that's the psychology that's the what I attract is the people that look and they say, like, when I'm selling them, people love being sold by me because they're like, this felt so good. This felt so easy. This
Right.
felt so like I was in control. I call it purchasing power that I give them. I give them purchasing power. It's
Nice.
transparency. It's clear. It's like, this is what's available. I don't call it handling objections. I'm not handling the wounds and beliefs of your life. I'm helping you heal them. And we're either healing them before their call or we're healing them during the call. But we're having a transparent, vulnerable conversation about possibility. Because if you're choosing me and I'm choosing you, we're about to go on a journey together. You're going to be in my WhatsApp for the next 6 months to a year every day. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm encouraging you every day. Whether it's my VA, my assistant coach, my pocket coach, I'm encouraging you every day. Message me, message me, message me, message me. Right? It's like, I can't charge by the hour for that. You can't afford me.
True. Very, very true. Very, very true. I love that. And so Carol says, I love the honeymoon stage of helping people. It has the best energy. So what is the honeymoon stage? What do you believe the honeymoon stage is, Carol? Give us a little bit more insight on that. And what would you say, Marcos, about the honeymoon stage? Is that a familiar term for you?
No, it's not a familiar term. The honeymoon stage of helping people, assuming that it's, I have no idea.
So for me, if I look at that, I think I know what you're talking about, Carol. When I first started coaching, one of the things that I held back, or when I found patterns very quickly, and for me it was usually around the 3 month mark. Right? They would come in, they're always at that high mark, and you and I both know that anybody that starts anything thinks that they're going upwards, but they're not. They're actually going down towards the first crash or the first overwhelm or the first whatever, right? And I knew that, but I held it to myself. And to me, that's the honeymoon stage. It's like, okay, this is amazing. It's going to be great. Right. And then they get to the 3 month mark. And then I would get that email, Joey, I'm not sure this is going to work and this and that.
I get it.
Right. And I'm like, so I just started coaching and I'm like, shit, this is what's wrong here. So I started, and it was a scary move for me, but I started calling it out. Like, and I'm asking people for, I think at the time it was $1,000 a month, whatever it was. And that was a big money mark for me back then, like limiting beliefs of money. Right. But still, it was a big mark. And I said, look, here's what's going to happen, Marcos. You're here. I know what the problem is, but I promise you by month 3, you're probably going to be worse than you are right now, because we're going to break a lot of eggs and you're not going to be where you want to be. I hope that you are, but are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for that moment in time 3 months from now when you look at the thing that we've been working on and it has not changed? It's actually gotten a little bit worse.
Wow.
Are you prepared for that? And they'd be like, all the way. And I'd be like, okay. And so the more I called out to the downsides of what's going to happen, because I know basically where my genius is and what I need to do to help, the less I got people saying, I'm not going to continue, because I can call back on it. So you remember that promise you made? Because I'm not trying to oversell them, like you said, or overpromise. I'm actually underpromise. I'm just saying, look, this is not going to be really easy. It's different than saying you got to put in the work. It's not going to be easy. Like, all that stuff is great, but when I'm actually calling it out and say you're going to feel like this, everything changed for me. So to me, I don't know if that's what the honeymoon stage for you, Carol. And by the way, if that's what you're talking about, Carol, I am the opposite. I don't enjoy the honeymoon stage because I know they're going to get to that 3 month mark and that scary part where they truly have to make the decision. For me, Marcus, really where they make the decision to start coaching is at that 3 month mark, not when they hired me 3 months ago. Like when they actually say, dude, I'm ready, because they've already seen how I work. We're already getting, sometimes there's that little pushback and there's always that little tension sometimes, right? And they see how Joey is and all that. Not that I'm pretending to be anybody else that I'm not now, but it's like, holy crap, this really does take work, and I'm on them, and I'm that guy who's actually pushing them forward and calling them out in a loving, respectful way. They really get to see it. And one of my favorite quotes is from Bill Phillips. He basically says that your character will truly shine through when the adversity actually happens. You can say all you want, but it's when the crap actually hits the fan is when your true character shines through. And I love that. And that's when they make the decision, at least for me.
It's so true. I think that is very accurate to what happens in the purchasing process. That was a very powerful share. Very powerful share. I feel like
Thank
we
you,
need to
friend.
meditate now. I'm just like, okay.
Well, dude, you know what? It's the same thing as I've talked about this before here on the show, but when I'm selling Atlas is my group coaching program, right? And it was like, so when people come in, right in my doc, like the first page says, guess what? You probably ain't going to make any money at the first round of Atlas. Here's why. So it's like, I'm telling you the truth because I know what it takes to get to where you want to be. Because I know my customer, my clients so well, what the state of what they're in when they meet me or when they buy Atlas, right? Or the coaching program. I know where they're at, where their mindset is. And it's not that nobody makes any money and nobody's ever not made any money, but most of the fact is that most people will not make that 10K a month that they're all willing to, that they all want by the end of that program. But what do you think all these marketers promote? What do you think all these guys say? Right?
But that's like, this is where I've always felt like you and I um, clash. So I kind of am the marketer you hate, kind of,
Okay. Fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
but I do it from the heart, right? So I tell it how it is too, right? I'm authentic. I can't not be. I can't. It's like a. I can't like. I can't be inauthentic ever. Like whether it be in breaking up with someone, it's like I got to tell it to you straight. This is exactly how I feel. I have to be authentic,
Yeah.
right? Like the filter is so intentional. That I can get them to the 10K because I've done it so many times and I understand the psychology and the spirituality and the ethics and the fears and the worries, and most importantly, what's missing is the work ethic. Like, let's just be honest. And sometimes the work ethic is strong, but they're working on the things that aren't going to make the manifestation occur, right? So I've done it so many times that I can promise that 10K. I can promise 30K if I wanted to, if the person is willing to charge high
Well, okay,
ticket, right?
but
But there's so many systems, right? Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to finish this point. Like, there's 8 revenue models in the coaching world: low ticket self study, mid ticket group coaching, high ticket one on one, workshop, seminar, subscription, speaking, right? Or membership, right? Like, these 8 models, or retreats, these 8
mhm.
models, like, you can make a very lucrative living from any one of them. But you have to have the system, the discipline, the consistency, the work ethic, the model, the mentorship, the commitment, right? So I understand that it's difficult for a lot of people. But I like to be the guy that they can come to that simplifies it. I like making sales and systems simple, fun, and inspiring, right? So I truly believe that the way that it's marketed in the world is from people that aren't devoted. They're devoted to their ad campaign, but they're not devoted to the product optimization or to the result. The majority
Okay.
aren't.
So that's where I don't think we clash, bro. Like I really don't. I think that we're on the same page. Is what I'm saying is that I can get people to 10K as well. The promise of the Atlas program, just to give you an example, is at least 5 times the investment. Like that's the marketing promise, right? But I'm like you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when someone hires you and they don't get a result, let's say in 90 days, you're still working with them, correct? Like you're
Yep.
working with them until they get the result, correct?
Yep.
So we're one and the same. All
Yep.
I'm saying is that there's so many marketers who will say, buy my program and in 12 weeks you'll get to 10K. And I'm saying BS because of most of the people that I'm working with need to unlearn a lot of stuff. Like they've been marketed to and they're trying all these other things and they need systems in place and all these things you talked about, which I completely agree, they haven't got in place. So I am breaking a lot of eggs in those first 10 weeks or 12 weeks. The same thing as I just told you at the beginning of that, when that coach comes in or that person says, like, guess what? In 90 days, 3 months is when you're really going to make the decision. So I just know it that at least from my dream clients, that's what they need. If I promised them, you're going to get 10K in 90 days and they don't, that's a problem.
Okay. I wish, and I don't know, and I can't assume, that the marketers, and are they coaches or are they marketers? Like, I wish that the people that are selling those claims had um, a filter in the enrollment process that said
Right.
this guarantee or this promise or this claim, there's a difference between all three, is accessible if you fall under the following categories. Like if they fill this audit out first and then it
Right.
it populates and says you're likely to succeed, right?
Right.
Like I feel like because it's the wild wild west with ads and campaigns and traffic and you know promises and guarantees, claims, it's such a finicky thing, like I've had people, invest $25,000 in my programs where I believe in them. They have the heart, they have the work ethic, they have the product, they have the experience, they have the background, they've made money, and then they go through the experience and they just completely dip, right?
Mm-hmm.
The product
Mm-hmm.
is there, the material is there, the accountability is there, the devotion is there, the structure is there on my part,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're doing everything we can as a team for this person, but they have a different mindset around it, and then they change course,
Mm-hmm.
right? Somehow it ends up being our fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our material's not good enough, or our content isn't great, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we support that with like hundreds of testimonials that are like, I got an ROI, I manifested this, I achieved this, I did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that it's very difficult to publicly promote a guarantee like 10K after 12 weeks. I think that that is unethical.
Mm-hmm.
However, the wording, like again, like that's clickbait, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
clickbait. The message, the integrity. This is why, like, I literally declared today, and I'm so happy to say this. I'm choking up as I say it. I'm so happy to say that today, after years, today I declared I'm running ads. I'm running ads because I got to help more people. I want to build this school. I'm obsessed with I have 700 lessons. Like, it's insane how much I've created. Like, I need to build this university model. It's a school for coaches and entrepreneurs. And I'm running this 6-week campaign that I launched yesterday. And maybe I'm just a little eager, but my engagement organically is so shit. And I'm so tired of competing with these algorithms as if my content's not good enough. My content is fantastic to the person who's ready to receive it, right? But the algorithm filter doesn't show me the people that are ready to receive it, right? So I need targeted systems to get people that say, I want to learn, so that I
Mm-hmm.
can feel the fulfillment of that message coming in, like, hey, I just read your post, it changed my life. Really? How can I help? Right? Like, I desire connection with the public, and the organic methodology just doesn't work, so I'm ready to be that for the world, a public servant. I'm ready to be that. I've been hiding as an introvert, and all comments are mean. People don't get me. Da, da, da. I don't care. I'm ready to be a public servant. My
Very
heart is in
cool.
the right place, and I know that when I run this integrity, this filter of integrity through these ads, the way my ads are going to come through, it's going to rock the world. Spoken word, poetry, hip hop, rap, music, playing the piano, plus business, plus possibility. Like, I know that I can do something special, something that like Billie Jean did it. Billie Jean just like boop,
Mm-hmm.
carved the niche. You know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So I want to do something like that. And I don't want to hide anymore. I want this to be the year I break free. So I'll make similar claims, but I think that I can make them with a filter that says, I can help you make $10,000 in 12 weeks. Click here to see if you qualify for this promise to be fulfilled.
And
Right?
what
Like,
happens if somebody doesn't make it in 12 weeks?
then obviously there's liability waivers. There's so many ways to communicate. Like, put me on the spot. So
That's the whole point.
what happens is this. I'll
We're
tell you
having a
straight up.
conversation just in front of the world how we would normally have it privately, right? So that's what this is
Yes.
about. And I thank you for your honesty and vulnerability and allowing this to happen.
You know, my immediate answer is like, then we'll work with you until you do.
Right. Okay.
That's
Okay. That's okay.
that's my high ticket guarantee. Like when clients buy my program, whether it's the 10K or 25K, the 15K, it's like, this is the timeline. And if by that timeline you haven't made that high ticket sale, we'll keep working with you until you do.
But
Right.
bro, that's why I said we don't clash, because I'm making kind of the same claims. Like, hey, I'm going to get you 5x of your money, which is, what is it? About 20 grand. Like, I'm going to get you 20 grand. Okay. But I'm not promising you're going to have it at the end of this. And here's why I'm not promising it. So I'm just telling people the truth, because I'm like you. I am very good at curating who comes into Atlas. Very good at it. It's very rare that I would get somebody who says, I want my money back. Very rare. And it's only because of that process of curating that right person who I know that I could help if they just follow the system, and then understanding where are they going to break through. I know exactly when they're going to break through, which is on week 6 to 8. Okay. Anything before that is like, wow, this is not what I was expecting. And then 6 to 8 they have the breakthrough, and then they go back and say, wait a minute, I think I got to actually put in the work that we were talking about between 1 and 6. Right. That's basically, it's happened like this for the last 4 years, again and again and again and again. So I know I can get people the same thing, and I'm giving the same guarantee, if you want to call it that. It's like, hey, if you don't get this, don't worry about it. Don't ever pay me again for Atlas, and I'll work with you until you get that 5x. Because when you get 5x on your investment, you're probably not going to want to come back to Atlas anyway. Like, you already got it. Right? You already get it, but you're always welcome to come back. So I'm doing the same thing. And I don't think we're doing any clickbait at all. Even if you were, and I'm not saying that that's what you suggested, because yours isn't clickbait, but if you said, hey, listen, I'm going to get you 10K, and then they come to your landing page, or you get on a call or whatever with them, and you say, here's what's going to happen. And by the way, if you don't get it, I'm going to work with you until you do. That's just opening up the offer a little bit more to help them understand this is what's going to happen. Am I right? Or did I miss anything, miss anything there?
No, because we're in the people business, right? Like, this is obviously not a scalable model, right?
Right.
So for anyone that's watching, it's like, we understand this isn't scalable, but we've chosen a different margin, right? Like, I'm comfortable at the 350, like, I'm comfortable. It was just recently where, even today, I posted a photo. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I realized, not realized, but we were talking about our goals, and we did. So the tax conversation that I had with you yesterday, right? Like, after taxes, like, we did the TurboTax countdown. It's like, you earn $1 million, you're left with 436,000, right? So she declared, I'm gonna have 7 figures in my bank account. I was like, oh, no way, I'm gonna have 7 figures in my bank account too. And it was like, well, she was like, well, just to let you know, after the million, this is how much we're actually left with. And I was
Right.
like, got it. So she was like, let's make 2 million then. I was like, okay, let's aim for 2 million. And we started creating the systems to it. It's not impossible,
No.
right? It's definitely not impossible. It's just a plan. Stick to the fucking plan, right? But when it comes to these plans, like this high touch model, I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with cracking the code, right? I'm obsessed with witnessing my clients transform. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I am, and I say obsessed, I'm passionate, right? Like, I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about their breakthroughs. I'm passionate about making myself available. I'm passionate about going through it with them. And I have the capacity for that. I don't have children. I'm not married. That's just where I am in my life, right? So my guarantee is supported by a capacity that is available. If I'm
Right.
running ads, I can't make that guarantee anymore, because that personal touch, that influence, I believe that proximity is power, right? I believe that my clients, they know if they see that I'm doing 6 figures a month and they're like, I want to make 6 figures a month, and I hired a guy who does it and I'm close to him, they believe that my influence is going to blend and gel and mesh into their belief systems, right? Just like you hired Tony, you're going to believe that you can be, like, proximity is power, right? You
Mm-hmm.
start hanging around celebrities, you start feeling like a celebrity, right? So that's the high touch model, and something that makes it very special. But if I'm running ads, I got to be very careful with these claims, especially because Joey Ragona is watching.
He'll call you out, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, if you're running ads to a page, like, look at Nicholas Kuzmich comes to mind. He was in Academy a couple of months ago talking about high premium stuff and all that. And like, the filter is like on the page first of all. Like if you're not this, then don't even bother clicking to apply to speak to me type of thing. So to me, that's where if I was running ads, I would still be able to have that high touch area because I believe marketing is all about repelling more than it is about attracting. It's about what can I say that eliminates 85% of the people reading this and only 25% or 15% are the ones that go, heck yeah, that's me. I need to talk to this dude. That's the way I approach marketing. I've been doing it for, eons, and that's how I've been able to build the companies with very small lists and all these other things because it's very niche down. These are the people. Even if you go to my page now, it says if you're not this, don't even bother. I start all my webinars. Don't even bother listening if this is not you because you're going to waste your time because I got nothing here to convince you. Because I don't want people coming to my world that I need to convince. I'm there to actually help them get out of the hole that they are in now. Like I'm saving them from something. And I'm like you, I'm passionate about that. I will die on that hill and I will talk to as many people as I can, but I truly do understand who that person is and they have to be able to fit the model, at least for my genius, to be able to push them and in a loving way and challenge them and also be able to fit the group because to me mine is about group coaching, it's not one-on-one, and the group to me I protect it with my life. That it's not about you giving me $3,500 for Atlas. It's about, do you fit the group? When you come in, are you going to be a cancer to that group or are you going to be a vitamin to that group? Right? That's what I'm looking for overall. And then all the other pieces come into place. Because if somebody comes to me and says, you can get me, $20,000 and I've got a $97 product, you're probably not going to
No,
work with me.
no. Yeah.
Right?
And that's like, that goes with what Kay just said. So many factors impact where each individual will go in a program, no matter how closely we filter or set criteria or qualifications. 100%. I go through a very similar process as you. I do repelling marketing. You
Good.
know, I didn't know that's like, now that you frame it, I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I'm doing. I'm definitely triggering truth and transparency in my marketing because I just want the real ones to come through, and that's a very, very important thing. Honestly, bro, like the sales process for me, it's never a struggle. Like people
Right.
come ready. They're just like, I
Right.
love your vibe. They come out of hiding, bro. They're just like people that don't engage, people that don't like, they're just watching, right? And they come out
Right.
and they're just like, hey, I love your vibe. I love everything you do. I believe in you. I know this person that you worked with, and they told me that they had a great experience. Let's begin this. Like, there's no resistance to it, right? So I love that. You know what I mean? I love that experience. So repelling, like, wow, like, and I've seen Nicholas do that as well. And I've always been super, super activated by the way that he teaches it as well, because I think he's just seen so much bullshit that
Mm-hmm.
he's also just like, let's just cut to the chase here. You know what I mean? And I love that. Like, I think it's authentic, right? It's authentic, you
Yeah, and
know?
when you're speaking about that, because like, see, this is where, at least for me, Marcus, it was like my brain would get in the way sometimes because of the organic stuff. I still go organic, whatever you want to call it, but I don't run ads at this point. And I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm just saying is like I've had to realize, and I go through this all the time with people in Atlas, like when is this going to click? When am I going to see this? Or there's like lulls of time. 2 months go by, you're posting, you're doing this, you're engaging in groups or something, and you get nothing. There's no DMs, nothing. And like that sucks. But I'm telling you that your dream clients are watching you. They're always watching you. And you that's the suckiest part about this because there's invisible clients out there, and that's the whole point. They're invisible. You can't see them until they decide to surface. But when they surface, man, it is gold. Like this happened to me just yesterday, I think it was. And think about this. Like this is a person who DM'd me who saw a video on Profit First that I did because I have one of the biggest videos on Profit First, believe it or not. I don't know if you know what Profit First is by
I
Michael
remember,
Michalowicz.
yes, the program. Yeah.
So when I learned that, I was like, I got to show everybody this. So at that point, anyway, it's one of the biggest videos out there, at least for me and for when you search it. So they got into that, watched that, I guess liked my vibe, found more of my stuff, and eventually he marketed me or DM'd me, and now we're in a conversation already. This is a absolute stranger, and this is what I would call a home run. Like if this person becomes a client or whatever, it would be like a home run. These are the things that a lot of the marketers like to talk about. Oh, I just converted somebody within 12 hours, right? And that's a cool thing, cool story to tell. But that's telling me that there's other people doing the exact same thing. They're just taking their time. They're watching through things. They're getting to know the vibe. Do I like this guy? Do I not like this guy? Do I trust him? That's most of my conversations. And then when somebody actually converts, I hate using that word, but anyway, converts. Um,
I hate it
it's
too.
it's usually very quick, and it's like you. So they might get on a call, which is rare anymore for me, but it's mostly in a chat or something. But it happens within a day or something. Now, if I only took that metric, the vanity metric of that, and promoted that and said, listen, when people DM me, they're converting within a day. And that's the truth. But it's only a slight portion of the truth because the people have been watching me for 18 months or 12 months, right? They've been on my list for that long. And finally, when they reach out, is when I actually know who's this Marcos guy? Never heard of this guy. Oh, he's on my list. Oh, okay, cool. Dude, look, what's going on? And then bang, you give me money for Atlas. I'm like, wow, that was an easy conversion, right? And that's the truth of what really happens. But I know, I believe, and I know that other people are right when I'm in a lull. That's what's happening. People are down here and they're watching me. They're watching from the sidelines, and eventually, when I invite or open up another cohort, some person reaches out and says, "Dude, tell me more about Atlas." I'm like, "Where did you come from? Where did you come from?" So,
Yeah.
dude, like I think we're on the same page here. We're
I think
doing the
we are
same
100%.
thing.
Yeah. I
You
think
know,
just for me, like whenever I feel like I'm not on the same page, it just has to do with the way that you publicly speak about the call out to the claim marketing, right? Which I've done that. I've done that because I want to help people see the possibility, but I can also see how, and I'm learning a lot about my message now that I'm finally building a brand. Like my brand has become just this organic experience that just kind of manifested, but a curated brand I've never actually had, you know, and I feel like now that I'm working on it, I'm seeing like my message is unclear. You know, my message is not clear on what it is that I'm capable of.
well, remember, Marcos, that this is me just talking to my tribe. And it's not that it's right or wrong to make a 10K claim or whatever it is, right? But for me, my clients have heard that thing again and again and again, unfortunately, from the wrong people. That you and I are like, dude, like, stop doing that, right? So they've been promised a lot of stuff that actually was BS. And by the time they get to me, unfortunately, most of them are financially broke because they've been duped by some other coach who claimed something and didn't come through and doesn't really care because they cared about their bank account, and they're emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, but they have this glimmer of hope. Like actually, they're losing the hope, but they have this mission still inside of them because they're heart centered and they're like, I really need help to get to where I need to be. So by the time they meet me, they're like, don't be this coach. They already distrust coaches. So if I claim that kind of stuff and go, no, 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 but I'm for real, they're gonna be like, yeah, you're like everybody else. So I understand like what their mindset is, and that's who I'm speaking to. You understand? It's not that I'm against the whole claim it because I know I can do it, but they're not gonna hear my message. Like that's just something that deters them. That's why I don't use high ticket. Like high ticket is a word that is a word that they just don't gel with. I've been using premium for years and years and years because I don't like the word high ticket either. That's just my personal thing. And they don't either. Right. So I think that what you're talking about here is super important for everybody listening. Like, make sure you understand your client better than they understand themselves. And this is what I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed probably more about that than I am about the actual transformation, which is really strong. The transformation to me is like, how can I support this person and get them to the next level? That's a big one. But imagine the power, the feeling that you have right now to support people. Imagine, take that energy right now and double that, which is what I feel about How can I get to know my client even better so I can get that transformation?
Mm.
You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah, bro, it's not dissing the message. Like I want to speak to people at the level that they're coming in at for me. And that is all about, I'm not going to promise anything because, dude, like, everybody I speak to have been promised so many. I can't tell you like how many messages I have about that. This is what happened. This guy promised me this. He promised me that. She promised me this. She promised me that. Like, wow. I mean, just to bring this to a point, case in point, today I was having a conversation again, and we were talking about like, what do you want? And it's basically 10K a month. It's always about 10K a month, right? Nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, so okay, great. What do you want? And how's your what would be cool in 90 days? 10K a month. And then then they stop. Actually, it'd be like one. If I just get one person in the next 90 days, it'd be awesome. I'd be like, that's fantastic. How can we help you get one person that we can then duplicate what you did to get them, to build the system around that, to get more people to get to 10K, right? Like that for me, Marcos, is the truth. That's the truth. Because most people want to scale it and they want to go like big and everything. I'm like, no, like let's start with the one. You can't even get one person. Let me show you how to get that one. Let's focus on that. And that is real to people. Rather than me saying, I'm going to go help you build your Instagram to 100,000 followers, right? Get to 100,000 a month. Like, dude, like I see it every single day because I'm having these conversations privately all the time. I don't know how you feel about any of that shit I just talked about, man, but
I'm like ultimately triggered, extremely triggered.
not good. Not good.
I'm very triggered because I agree. I agree with everything. I think because I'm such a sensitive person, like I feel sad that there's so many, you know, broken hearts out there, like I really feel for those people. And
Yes.
that makes me frustrated. So I'm sad. So I feel very just like my energy went from excited to just sad, just like,
Well, it could be sad. Like I hear you, but honestly,
but at the
bro,
same time, I don't want to, I'm not sorry to interrupt you. Just that wasn't,
no.
there's the sadness is also like the lingering around just, look, I'm a bit of a, what's the word? Like, I can be stern when it comes to taking a stand for a behavior that was um, said that was going to be done. For example, posting and praying. So almost everybody in the coaching space that doesn't have an actual campaign strategy posts and prays. And what that means is they're in a position where they just hope that it's called hope marketing, right? So
Yeah.
it's not real. It's not real marketing. It's just, I hope. It's like every post is just, I post and I hope this connects. I hope. They pray,
Right.
they pray, and pray, right? Then there's the coaches that, if we look at the numbers, let's say the coaches that are charging by the hour still, I've met many of them that are still $125 an hour and they're making, $300 a week and their rent is $3,000. Like there's the numbers don't add up, right? So when we talk about eliminating the behaviors that get in the way, that bottleneck a person's business, because it's the behaviors that are getting in the way. Like a campaign strategy, I always say every post is a sale. If you go into it with that intention, okay, define sale, right? It's like, well, every post is a magnet. It's a magnetic opportunity to attract someone's vulnerability and trust,
Yes.
right? Like that is a sale because it is the vulnerability and trust, the trust and connection, the transparency and truth that actually makes the sale. It's
Yes.
not the money exchange. The money exchange is just, so how are we going to do this now? Oh, well, we're going to exchange some value. Great. But the emotions behind the sale are the transparency, the connection, the truth. It's the core values that are aligned. I always say when your core values align with your clients, your leads core values, that's when a sale is made, right? The coaching isn't transactional because we go into these deep dive relationships with people, right? So we can't be transactional. So when we're marketing, we can't be transactional with our marketing either, right? The post and pray doesn't work. The hope marketing, you may hit the jackpot here and there, but the reality is that to have a predictable revenue, there's 6 systems that have to be put in place.
Cool.
And the thing about coaches is you're not expected to be a master at all 6 systems, but you are expected to be the CEO of your company so that you can make executive decisions when you delegate or automate certain things that you're not a specialist at.
Okay.
And I know for a fact that these coaches that are struggling or that have been brokenhearted, the only thing that's probably obvious, there's the belief systems in place, and there's all this, the conviction, they're missing Godfidence. There's a lot of things that they're missing. And at the most fundamental core, Joey, what's missing is the system. Like what you showed me on Notion, that's a system,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
How actively are all those posts going out every day,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's also a system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it all automated, or is it delegated, or is it you doing it yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's a system,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we talk about it, the system is basic: generate awareness. That's a marketing campaign, right? But if coaches are not marketers, then okay, you're either going to hire somebody or you're going to study something so that you could become the CEO of your business and make executive decisions. The magnetism of your message, the creativity, the connection, the consistency. That's a whole industry. Generating awareness is an industry. But if nobody knows who you are, then how are people going to buy your stuff, right? So that's number one. From the awareness, you got to generate leads, right? Which is, how are you going to convert interest and awareness into possibility of working together, into connection? People promote that by saying lead magnets, right? So great, I'm going to give you something for free. I call it taste testing, right? So it's like, here's a sample of what it's like, right? So somebody's going to opt into that, right? They opt in, they exchange some value, they start to warm up to them, they experience that. Most coaches, they get that far, and then that's where they wait. That's where the praying starts, which is, oh my God, somebody opted in to get my lead magnet. I really hope that they like it so much that they message me telling me that they're ready to buy, right?
Or
That
on the
really,
other side, with the people that I'm sort of interrupt, but like what I'm telling you is that happens, but then they get slammed with offers and pitches, and that
but
turns at least my tribe off.
but that's the industry though. Like who's like that's the industry. It's a marketing. If you're enrolling in marketing behavior, then you're going to be marketed too. So maybe there's a paradigm shift there too, right? Like that's marketing. You're signing up to learn more, and then you're gonna have to unsubscribe right away, like I do. Right? It's like, okay, I'll opt in, and then boom, I unsubscribe right away
Yeah,
because
but
I
that's
don't.
you see, this is where we differ because, like I was in that a very like aggressive. I call it bulldozer marketing because it's just like I'm just bulldozing my way into people's inboxes and here's the offer. Here's the offer. What's an excuse that I could put an
I don't
offer
do
out
that,
today,
though. I
right?
don't. I don't that I do that.
I know that you don't do that. I'm just saying that this is where people are. I know the industry. I know that there's a time that we have to offer something, but I am not a fan of opting in and then expecting an offer or expecting that someone's going to buy from me because I'm not the hope and pray that guy either. There's a difference. I have had a discussion like this quite a few times on the show about expectations and wanting, and I guess hoping that someone wants to work with him, but not in the hope the way you're saying it. That there's not an expectation for someone to work with me. There is this excitement and I'll just use the word hope that they make the move on their timeline. Like that's the difference. It doesn't mean I'm not offering. It doesn't mean I'm not speaking to them. It doesn't mean I'm not marketing to them. But I'm not putting them through a bulldozer type of marketing, right? So that's what they're against. Like everybody tells me that, and you can talk to as many of my clients as you want, and they'll tell you the exact same thing. The reason I signed up for Joey is because he never pushed me into anything. It didn't mean I didn't offer anything, but he never pushed me, ever. And they just knew it because the timeline was, like I said, between opt in to purchase is about 6 months to 18 months. And I'm okay with that because I'm the person who's like, I'm going to start that flywheel, the whole Jim Collins thing. I'm going to start it. And it's going to be really tough right now because nobody's buying right now. But once I bring people into my world, because they're all being curated at the top, they're all being curated from day one. And I treat everyone as if they were a customer from day one. You're in my free Facebook group, you're a customer to me. Whether you're paying or not, you're a customer. So I treat everybody the same way. And then that flywheel now has this rotation of drones, of amazing drone people just flying around, watching Joey, watching what's going on. And eventually one decides to land and go, I'm in Atlas, right? That's the way that I perceive what's happening, because they're all looking at things differently in different perspectives. If I put them through a funnel and try to force them into my timeline, it doesn't work. I've tried it a billion times. I was one of the first guys using, Digital Marketers Machine. You remember that whole program? I built out, you name it, inside of Infusionsoft, like all of this, the if, ands, and what's, buts, and ascension models, and you name it, cross-sell things, and did that for years and years and years, and it never really worked for me. Now,
For you,
there's
but
a
it does
lot
work.
of things. Pardon me?
It didn't work for you, but it does work.
It does work. Everything I talk about does work for somebody, right? What I'm saying is that this goes back to, who are you speaking to? My
it's also-
clients don't want to be put through a funnel.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just because like I'm realizing that the cost of living is going up. So like for me, I know that I can help so many more people now. Like I have been who you are for my whole career, 10 years. And just now, literally today, I had the breakthrough that's been permeating around just like, this is too slow for the amount of output that I give out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
too
yeah.
slow. I'm underwhelmed by my impact.
Yeah.
And the only way to change that is to increase the volume of my value. That's how I like to say it. I'm increasing the volume of my voice, which is also my value. So but I'm ethical. So I don't have to fall into the category of all those bad stories. And I never will, because it's just not who I am. I
Right.
literally can't live with myself if it's out of integrity. Right.
And I know that about you, bro. And again, I don't want to let anybody think that that's what I'm saying who you are, because I know you're like this amazing ethical person, and it's just an opening conversation from two perspectives, which is what I love about this show. And so I honor you for that. Truly. I know that you're not anything like this. And I agree with you. I'm not saying that don't use ads or get your voice out there in front of more people so you can help more people. I'm not saying that at all. At all. I believe in it. Just at this point, for me, I'm not doing that. There will be a point when I will follow your lead. I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to start running ads here, and because I'll know even better, like 100 times better, of how to curate the right people. So when they hit that Nicholas Kuzmich landing page type of thing, be like, had 100 people, but only 10 people opted in. And that's absolutely fantastic, because I know that those people are the other people I want. Right.
But even I don't really care about the opt-ins. I care.
No, but you know what I mean? Like they get through that process to get,
I care about the awareness, right? If I'm approaching entrepreneurialism from entrepreneurialism, then as an artist, for all the creative effort for my marketing to have such underwhelming impact, like I want to promote.
Well, what is impact for you though, Marcos?
Well, that's the thing, is like, I know there's a silent impact, like you said, people watching behind the scenes and there's impact happening. I get the messages and all that stuff, but there's also like a sense of metrics that I want to actually see. I want to see the numbers. That's where I am in my career. It's been 10 years that I've been doing this organically. Did 1.8 million in revenue organically, referral based, right? Like I'm bored. I want to experience the next level of what's possible, right? So, and if I ever do in the public eye, I invite you to tell me. But I don't think I will ever be the person that you or your community is turned off by. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Hello?
I'm still here. Did I lose you?
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever be, just for a second there. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever be the type of marketer or person that you or your community will be turned off by. And if I ever am, I invite you to tell me, be like, bro, like your message is coming off a little salesy, bro. Like you're coming off a little like cringe, like let me know, because I can see how it can become that, right? Especially under the guidance of experts that are telling you, well, if you don't use these keywords, then you're not going to convert. right? And it's like
Yeah.
maybe that's what's happening. Maybe authentic people are being turned into, they're selling their souls, right? Because the experts are telling them, like, there's no point in running this ad. Nobody's going to want to click on it if you're telling them that you're a heart-centered marketer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they're going to tell me I can't do that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I invite you, if you ever do see me publicly start going out there doing that, let me know. Let me know, because I'm not trying to sell my soul, at all with marketing.
Do you want to read that from Kay? Can you? I don't know. Can you see it?
I've read it. Yeah. I've read it. Yeah.
Do you want to read it out loud for the
Oh,
public?
you want me to read it? Okay.
Yeah.
This is why I resonated with you, Joey. I had heard it all before and wasted my money. And what I loved is that you got me a result financially in the first Atlas, but you were so humble to say to others, your result may not be the same as Kay's, because Kay had clients coming into this. What a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Thank you, Kay, for letting us know that that's exactly what happened. Marcos enjoyed the conversation, learned a lot. I don't know who this is, Facebook user, but thank you. By the way, if you want to give us permission to know who you are, to give you props, just click on the little link inside the in the group there, where it allows Ecamm to publish your name. And by the way, if you are watching outside of the group, let me put in the group here so you can join us inside the Heart Centered Marketing group, where we have amazing conversations like this every day. It's a great group. There's no major pitching going on like when you're putting into Facebook groups where they do that. That's not what this is about. Let's see here. Let's go through some of these other comments. Lorna, the right way versus the right way versus the right way, even if you see it differently. That's exactly it. That's how Marcos and I are. We always end up on the same page. Okay. I'll let you read that one, Marcos.
Which, let me see. I guess it matters how you define impact. It's not always measured in numbers, because if you serve very deep, the one person you help, if you do it right, they take that and go out and influence a whole community. Absolutely. That's my whole business model is built off that. Like I said, I'm in a transition point now, where I'm hungry. I'm feeling this hunger.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm hungry and I'm bored. So that's like hangry,
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel in my career right now, where I'm like, I'm hangry, which is why I want to build this school model, this university for coaches and entrepreneurs, right? Coachable. Like that's my next goal here, is membership, right?
Mm-hmm,
Is
mm-hmm.
membership, subscription, enrollment. Like, I love the idea that there's conversations happening. I love that there's pods where people can go to. I love that there's a flow of, of energy. I love that there's entertainment and education, and, there's training, and it's a university model, So that's what excites me. School. I love school. School excites me.
What is so what are the other models of predictable income? Like, we didn't really touch on a lot of it. So what are some of them, just to give anybody here some ideas?
So there's 6 steps, right? So it's ultimately the basics of building a business: generate awareness, generate leads, nurture relationships with those leads, convert those leads into clients, fulfill on your promise, and then upsell those leads into lifetime value clients that can become a part of your community or your tribe for as long as they can. So that's the 6 steps. There's systems to all of that. It's how you pair those systems with the 8 revenue models, right? Where things start to change, because now we're talking, okay, I have this system. The system is intended to support this product. What is the revenue model? Low ticket self-study, mid ticket group coaching, high ticket one-on-one workshop, seminar, retreats, speaking, or subscription, right? So there's the 2 worlds, right? There's the product optimization, building a brand, a reputation, and an impact, and then there's the marketing of that product, right? So I remember about 4 years ago, I had revenue coming in from 6 out of those 8 streams, and it was incredible. It was an incredible experience to have so much momentum, right? After my fiance and we separated, so things started to just kind of disassemble. But I remember the feeling of being like, wow, we have this self-study program that's kind of selling itself, and we have these quarterly group programs, and then we have our exclusive premium one-on-one that's happening, and then we have our monthly workshop, and then I'm doing speaking gigs over here, and then it was like this experience of like, whoa, like I really felt like I was living on purpose, in a really fun and exciting way. So generating that kind of predictable revenue as a coach is, to be honest, like predictable doesn't mean certain, right? Predictable means that you can forecast that your output is giving you something that you can anticipate. And when you see that drone, if you have the capacity in space and Atlas, then you could fly up and grab the drone and bring it and be like, hey, you want to have a conversation? Like, I see you looking. It's like, yeah, I can see it. Like that's the predictability, is seeing that the patterns and the systems you've put in place are now giving you a sense of safety in your personal life. You got to understand, so many people, if they're in a relationship, then they have a second income. So there's a passiveness to that,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's like, oh, they can chill a little bit. I attract a lot of people that they don't have anything to fall back on,
Right.
right? Like they gotta develop the sales skills. They gotta
Yep.
develop the systems. There's nowhere to lean, right? There's no net, right? So building these systems has been a really special thing because people could become embodied inside of who they really are.
Yeah, see, again, I think we're speaking the exact same language. We're just using different words or different semantics on how to really explain it. Because, I now that you've explained it this way, like I do have a system in place of predictable income. Like I know that how much I'm going to make at least on the lower level of each year just by doing these three things or whatever every single day. And I call it the 4% multiplier. What are the three or four things that I'm doing that's going to move the needle to bring clients into my space? And part of it was I showed you in Notion. I go in here and I help and I do this and I do that and blah, blah, blah. So it is a system. And that's why I'm very adamant about when people are coming into my world that they have way too many things going on. And what's not happening is they're trying to build too many systems at once. And I'm like, just slow it down and simplify. Because I'm a simplifier. It sounds to me like you're a multiplier. And we both need each other, right? Like you're that dude. If I go, Marcos, listen, man, I've been hitting 100 grand like consistently year after year after year. I need to take it to 1 million. How do I do that? And you're the dude that comes in and goes, okay, here's how we're going to expand this thing, right? Am I right about that? Like you're that multiplier dude? Or are you
No,
this? Are you a simplifier?
my sweet spot is 500 grand in 3 years for startup coaches.
Okay, but just like as a personality, forget the money for a second. Would you call yourself a simplifier or a multiplier? A
Both, like,
multiplier. You're familiar with Dan Sullivan's multiplier simplifier thing? Yeah.
if you look at my models, like it's designed for both. Like simple is sexy, and then the multiplier archetype. I can't read it to you word for word based off of Dan Martel. Are you referring to buy back your time?
No, Dan
Oh,
Sullivan.
the strategic coach. No, not familiar.
So like a multiplier is basically someone who can look at like a simple system that works, like 1, 2, 3, and massively make that work with like 30 things going on, right? So I'm
Yeah.
the guy that takes the 30 mass pieces that are not connected and go, whoa, let's simplify this because you got way too many things going on that aren't connecting, and let's simplify and get it working, and then you can go and scale. So one of the trigger words for me is scale. When people come to me and they go, Joey, I need to scale, I'm like, I ain't the guy. I'm going to get you to the first level of like 100K. That's basically my promise of getting people to their revenue goal. Like that's where I want you to get to. And after that, bro, I'll send you to somebody else who can help you scale that thing. But I'm here to simplify because you got way too many unconnected things going on, right? And that's my genius of simplifying down, because the way that the people that I work with are great at looking out into the horizon. They're like, that's where I want to go. And I'm envious of them because sometimes I can't see that in my own. I'm like, I don't know where I want to go, but I'm really good at looking down at what I'm tripping over. Like I keep falling down on my face. What's going on here? I kind of want to go there, but I don't know why I keep falling down. I'm the guy that says, Marcos, look down at your feet and let's fix that thing so you don't keep tripping over it. Because you're not getting any closer to that horizon, right? So I'm that simplifier guy.
That's
That's why I
powerful.
strip down all the systems.
Yeah, I get it. Wow.
right? So I take those random ideas, even if it's to the simplistic thing of who's your dream client. Because I even a conversation I had today, within 15 minutes, I had that person go, "Holy crap!" And
Yeah.
it's nothing magical. It's just like, look, you're telling me you're talking on Instagram about these three things, and it relates to this thing. Yes. Okay, let's have a conversation. And I picked one of the things and I had a conversation. Da, da, da. Help me through this. What would you say? We had the conversation. And I said, great. What happens if this other person comes to you and talks to you? Right? It's a completely different conversation.
I've had this
Is it related
conversation
to
so
that?
many times.
Pardon me?
I know what you're talking about.
You
I know
know,
where
right? But dude, like, so that's where people get confused about, no, I can build this and that and all these lead magnets and all that. I'm like, no, you can try, but it hasn't worked yet. So I'm like, just do this one thing until you get to a certain point and then we'll worry about it. And that's the hardest part of my job, but that's where I'm able to guarantee, if you want to call it that people will be successful because I'm
Yeah.
simplifying for them. And those are the things that I'm unlearning or breaking for them. They're like, no, they said you have to have, and again, I'm not against it, Marcos, please. But they said you have to have a low dollar, you have to have an upsell, a cross sell, this and that. And I'm like, dude, you can do that. But now you're in the laws of complexity. Every single thing that you add adds another level and multiply compounded complexity to everything you do. And you haven't even got the one thing working yet. So that's where I step in and like simplify for them.
Yeah.
Because systems are great, Marcos, but if you're trying to build multiple systems at one time, I don't know, man. I haven't been able to crack that one. It's hard.
That's the thing though, like that's what I perceive from your personality around it, is that you've got your own trauma, let's call it, related to your own growth, and you keep tripping, right? And or you don't keep tripping, but rather you don't see the horizon because you're comfortable and safe where you are. I've been tripping for so long that I've tripped so many times, and I've also put so many rocks in my backpack, like that. It's there. It was the systems that set me free, right? It was
100%. Yeah.
it was the systems that set me free when I started to delegate, when I started to automate, when I started to play a consistent game of, practical behaviors, right? That the systems made everything simple so that I can have a personal life, right? And that is the getting off the hamster wheel model, right? My next goal in my business for November is like a 2-week vacation test. Can I take 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
completely turn off my phone, and
Mm-hmm.
have my business actually double in revenue, right?
Yep.
That
Yep.
is
No,
the
and
goal for this.
I'm like, you're right. Like for me, I was never a systems guy. I was more of the, let's just kind of throw it together and see how it works. But in the past 4 years, that's what I've done is I've created a system. Now that's why I'm saying to you, and I say this to people in Atlas all the time because they always ask me, so are you against ads? Like, are you not going to run ads? And I'm like, no, but when I ran ads before, I didn't have a system in place. I didn't have things, whatever, and I lost a lot of money, and that's upsetting. But I am now at the point where if I wanted to run Atlas ads, I could easily do it, and I would bet my house on it because I know what works. Like I know the system that works to get them in and all that stuff. So I agree with you 100%. What I'm saying is that I found it very difficult to try and build multiple systems. Whereas, for example, I'm going to do one-on-one coaching and I'm going to get people for that. And I'm also going to build this membership thing over here and try and build that model. It was difficult to do that. And I'm going to build this other thing over here at the same time. And all those multiple systems were challenging because one, it wasn't working. You're switch tasking between the systems, right? If I get Atlas where it is now, and then let's say I multiply this thing and I put in ads and people are coming in and all that, and let's say I get salespeople doing it or whatever, right? That's a system in place, multiply it, and then I can move on to build another type of system. Let's say it's a membership or something like that. But my focus is only there. At least that's the way my brain works. Because complexity is something that I can't deal with. Like I just
Yeah,
don't want to deal with complexity. It frustrates the hell out of me.
yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I've been there. I've been in all those places. I think like I like the ideology behind like if you want to make your first million in the coaching business, choose your core offer. Do it with your core offer,
Hmm.
right? And that's if a million is a goal, right? Um, do it with your core offer, right?
Right.
Not multiples, right? Like don't. There's mastery to building $1 million system into with one core offer,
Right.
right? Like I also think like there's personality traits. Like I'm a ninja in so many ways. So for me, what I'm capable of has expanded. So I can build multiple systems because I've been doing it for so long. So I can have multiple teams. I now I'm starting to have the capacity again for that. Like
But you see, Marcus, you've got experience behind you, so we have to be careful about it because people listening who are new are going, "Yeah, that's what I want," but they haven't done it for years like you. You don't have the chops of 10 years of getting people to 1.8 million or whatever, right?
but
There's
that
a
but again,
difference.
but that's where the my job, if I'm good at what I do, then I can participate in simplifying the conversation for them in the same way that you do by protecting them from themselves. Right? They
Right.
tell you they have this goal, and you're just like, well, hold your horses, because yeah, like that's where a good consultant comes in strategically, being able to be like, hey, Strategic Business Academy, like, hey, I'll show you what it looks like, but this is what you're going to have to invest, give up, and sacrifice. Like, trust me, I am consulting you. Let's pivot and do this first,
I love it. I love it, man.
right?
uh, Kay
Many,
says,
many, many people. Yeah, go ahead.
Kay says, I love that Marcos is creating new ways to really express his genius in a way that it excites his soul. And this will excite his curated university tribe.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so excited. I can't stop thinking about it. I think about it in the shower. I think about it in the gym. I'm just like I think about when I'm driving, and it's because one of my virtual mentors has done it and is doing it, and I'm just like, oh, I love what she's done, and I want to do that too. And it has to do with the one to many model, but it also has to do with giving other people roles of leadership,
Hmm.
right? Like I want teachers to feel like they have their own cohorts. There's something really special that I just love. The breakthrough I had at the gym before I got here was like I want to build the school that I never had.
Nice.
I have no academics. I didn't graduate high school. I'm pretty sure I failed elementary school. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to university. Like I have zero academic background, right? Like on paper, I am a ghost.
I love it, man.
Yeah. Well, it's been
Lorna
great, man.
says, sorry.
I said this has been great. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hang for just a couple more seconds?
Yeah.
So Lorna says, if you said what you do the same way, neither of you would be unique. Keep being you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, we do the
Um,
same thing in our own ways.
yeah. By following simplicity has helped me move to what others call the high ticket item and open the possibilities to increase revenue and impact. 100%. Yeah. And Kay finally says, focus on one area to blow it up big. Yeah. This is what I believe. It's a lot simpler for me. I just like having a lot of my freedom. Um, and everybody's different, right? It's not that I'm right, not Marco's right, not that anybody else is right. It's like what is right for you. I'm always about that. I always begin speaking to any client on what do you want your life to look like. Let's design your dream life that your dream business fits around, and then we'll figure out everything else. We'll figure out the model. We'll figure out the revenues, like all that stuff, because and that's when the math or maybe the systems come into place. But I find that so many people do it backwards. They begin with a product or a model, and then they're like, okay, now where do I get clients? Who are those clients? And then, hey man, let me just start putting my life in here. Like, where do I get this life balance thing? Well, dude, you don't start at over there. You start with life balance. You start with life first, and then everything else goes into that. If it doesn't fit in the calendar, it doesn't fit into your life, then you're doing the wrong thing or you're doing too much of it. And
Yeah,
that comes from experience too, growing up in that environment and entrepreneurship and everything else. You're seeing that every single day and
self-sacrifice.
24/7, right?
Yeah.
Sacrifice, too much
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Self-sacrifice, but in a way that is just like um it's like it's the endless hamster wheel, right? Like
Yeah.
I call it Godfidence. We start with Godfidence. That's where I begin my
I
journey
love
with
that
my
word,
client.
man.
Yeah, like I start with that, and then we go into the lifestyle conversations. So, for example, like one of my favorite programs to build is like a high ticket. Sorry, high
Don't
ticket.
hey, don't apologize for me.
It's a prescription model, right? Like it's like you have an archive of all this material. You still charge a premium, but it's semi-automated. So the material gets
Yeah.
prescribed so that you don't have to be on calls, right? You can take one call every 2 weeks if you want, and then you have your pocket coach that's doing the Q&A stuff. And so it's like it's a hybrid self-study and high touch in one, and you can have that. That's my current model, which is why I can have 12 clients per quarter, at high touch, because it's a hybrid. It's phenomenal, to be honest. Like it's like, okay, the team is like, okay, so where's this person at? Well, they're struggling with this. Okay, prescribe that. Boom. Right? Like it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's like it's lifestyle based, right? Like I am such like right now I'm experiencing so much anxiety, right? Like when I speak for too long, I get anxious and I start getting fidgety. Like that's just who I am, right? um I love that, Kay. That's so cool that it's evolving into that. Yeah, I get anxious. I get really anxious. So I have to be alone a lot, right? I have to be with my heart a lot. I have to be with my soul a lot, right? I have to be in my Godfidence practices, my prayer, my meditation, my breath work, my journaling, and my exercise, right? It's like my whole life is devoted to those practices, right? And I have to be able to not be on when I'm going through it, right? Like after this call, I got to go do breath work because I'm having a mild anxiety attack. I feel it in my chest, right? And it's like that happens a lot to me. So I have to have a lifestyle that is not dependent on my performance in long spurts. I'm not a sprinter. I'm a marathon, let's go. I'm chilling, because I'm gonna have to stop and I'm gonna have to pause for a bit, maybe pop a meditation for 7 minutes, and then I can continue. That's
Hmm.
just my lifestyle, right? So when I meet these and it's literally like the repercussion of being an A type for so long,
Mm.
which is why what you talk about with regards to simplicity and freedom, these things are things that I've had to learn the hard way about, which is why now I found simplicity in systems, right? Because now when I have this sense of relief, because I know this person's working on that, this person's working on that, all I got to do is sign off. Yep, keep doing that. Yep, keep doing that. And I know that I look at my campaign, it's got 24 posts for the week, and it's all hands off, right?
100%.
That's sexy to me. That's something that's like, wow, I know my impact is being made. I know my systems are in place. I know that people are being helped. When I'm asleep, people are, that's what I mean, Joey. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by there's a health component to systems that have given me the ability to live a health oriented life, right? And that is literally the priority, right? In my family and with myself. So that is like, I'm so glad you brought up lifestyle first, because we didn't touch on the context, but that is where all of this is foundationally built on.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you shared that because so many people miss this fact. And when I understood and flipped the script of like what was I doing, I was actually trying to build my life around my business like everybody else. I see so mmany people do this, and like this is just the wrong way of doing it. And it was not an easy process because I had to let go of income or like where's the stuff going to come from and not knowing and all these other things. And I built the same way you are. I'm not 24/7 on. I my week is so broken up in terms of freedom or just time for me to just be me and think and just not have to be on, even though I don't have other coaches working or a team doing all these other things. I mean, that comes with experience. And I think that one other thing I want to bring up that for everybody to listen to is there's a huge difference between like you've been doing it a little bit longer than I have in terms of I get the coaching part of it to build those systems, which is amazing. And I think that everybody listening to this, You have to graduate to that level. You have to get to that point where you know inside and out what you're capable of. And for me, it took these last 3 years to really get it. Like now, if you ask me, like I even at the beginning of this call, I kind of explained who my customer is, who the client is, what they're going through, all of that stuff. It's only because I've been doing discovery for the last 3 years, even though I'm being paid for it. And this is what I like. I recommend to everybody. Like you can still get paid, you can have a great life and all this stuff, and not be slammed against the wall. But you're actually learning about your client and your superpowers during the process, so that then you can turn it into what you're talking about, Marcos, which is automate as much as you can, do whatever you want to bring in, and get even more freedom in your life. But that's where I'm at. So when I look back and say, do I have everything automated? No, but a lot of it is in terms of what's the process coming in. But I'm still on calls, or not calls, but chats. But it's on my time, so I'm not. When I'm not like, I mean, I had a conversation last night. Let's say I had a conversation up till, like, I don't know, it was 11:30, and then it was just like the question was here's like this question, and then it was ended. Like I just went to sleep, and I just picked it up in the morning, right? It was just like, this is just, I'm not going to go until 3 o'clock in the morning on these things because I'm expecting a client or anything like that, right? So I do build things around my life, me first. And this is one thing that I see a lot of people struggle with, is that they think it's selfish, that we should think about ourselves and our health and all this stuff first, and then build everything around it.
I don't understand. It's selfish to do that.
That's what people think. I'll give you an
Okay,
example. When
I'll own that, but I'm selfish. I
No,
can't.
but
I can't show up for anybody.
right.
You know, like I can't. Like what the fuck? Like like I thanks Kay for engaging with that. Like yeah, like there are non-negotiables. Like our businesses are not our we're not slaves to this, you
I know.
know, and but we can fall prey to the influence of how never ending our to-do lists are, right? Like there's got to be a practice of so many distinctions here, you know, the committed versus attached, right? Like I
Yes.
live by committed versus attached in sales, in prospecting, in decision making. I live by that distinction. Am I
Yes.
committed to this, or am I attached to this, right?
Right.
For the most part, I'm detached from things, and maybe that makes me selfish. But living with anxiety is not fun.
No.
Living in a suffering state is not fun. Living with self sabotage is not fun. So you want to help the world, and you reward yourself, or you get punished for it. But like from a biochemical place, you get punished for all this passion, right? Like I'm hitting you raw with it. Like that's what I feel like. Like my body punishes me for being passionate, right? It's like you're giving, 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 giving. Let's hit you with an anxiety attack. Let's go, right? And then it's like, yo, breathwork, meditation, Godfidence, right? Which is why I've been going to the gym twice a day for almost 7 months now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I'm finding, okay, I'm accessing Godfidence at the gym said twice a day, like
Mm-hmm.
or a 45-minute walk in the woods, or like, and the reality is that my systems are in place, so nobody's on my case. Like, and plus core values like integrity, it's like, dude, if I give you my word, then my word is going to make up for it. So everything is in flow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That is like such a game changer for me now, which is why I've been hesitant to scale. Much like you said earlier, I was like, if I'm gonna build a 7-figure business and I'm gonna be on all the time, fuck that.
No.
I don't
No.
be on
Yeah.
all the time, which is why I've been so comfortable. I've been like, I make a great living. I'm chilling. Like I don't need more, right? But then pressures start happening. Like people in the family start asking you for help, and things start to, and then, oh, but we're getting old, and oh, but we don't have retirement. Oh, but we need your help, or oh, but it's gonna fall on you, or you're gonna have to take over, and you know what I mean? And then you start realizing, yo, if it's all gonna fall on me, I gotta start to pick up the pace a little bit here. So, for my own personal reasons related to self care and wellness, plus the expectations of this generational wealth that is going to protect my family from themselves
Mm-hmm.
because of old age and the unforeseen, I
Mm-hmm.
have to be that guy. I feel like I have to be that guy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that, man. That was powerful. And wow, like yeah, like I just want to end with like the selfishness piece is a good thing. You know, what the only reason I brought it up is because whenever I do a core values exercise or what's important to you exercise, and I say, guys, like what's the top three things that are important to you? Everything comes up except me.
Yeah.
It's family, it's health, it's
I want to
money,
help
it's
you.
whatever. And I'm like, what's missing there? And they're like, what? I go, you. You're never you're and why are you doing that? And it's because that most people unconsciously or consciously, it's more unconsciously, um, is it unconsciously? Whatever it is. Um, unaware. They're like they're afraid of being judged by saying me first. Right? They're afraid of saying, no, this has to be about me.
That
And
comes up
I
a lot.
changed that paradigm a long, long time ago. I go, if this is not about me first, then I can't do anything that I want to do to impact the world. And I know that everybody's heard the thing before, but are you actually practicing it like you are, Marcos, right? Are you actually practicing the fact that you taking care of yourself in whichever way you define to make it about you first? For example, when I wake up in the morning, bro, it's all about me. My family knows it. I don't care how much I love my family and my kids. They all know it. Don't don't talk to me because this is about my time right now. Like I need to ease into the day. I want to read a little bit. I want to journal a little bit and everything else. I don't want to talk to anybody. Right? Unless there's a fire going on, there's something majorly going down, my family knows, leave him alone. Now, is that selfish? I don't think so. Because the rest of the day is all about them and it's all about my clients. But I took care of me first, my
Hmm.
mental capacity.
Yeah. It's a non-negotiable.
Kay, we'll end with yours. Joey's taught me to only work with clients that support Kay, exactly taking care of Kay first. This is why they energize me. 100%. If people don't
A million.
understand that,
Yeah, a million
man, all
percent.
of my clients know. All of my clients know who I am. They know my moods. They know everything. They can read me like a book and like I can read them like a book. To me, that is a match made in heaven. Like I don't have to be anybody else. Not that I've ever, well, I shouldn't say ever. I've been close to it, but I don't have to be somebody else to convert somebody to give me money. I can just
Yeah,
show up as Joey.
all that inauthenticity is so frustrating. Like it's like, man,
All right, I don't want to give you more anxiety, bro. I
I
love
can't.
you.
Like
Thank you.
I can't with all this. Like the fact that that's out there. Like I look at everybody from a lens of love, so I don't see it. I don't see it, to be honest. Like I always think that everybody has somebody's best interest in mind. I am so naive. Okay. I am so naive. I think everybody has good intentions. I think everybody is good, and sincere. I'm naive, but when I hear you talk about it, I'm just like, oh my God,
No,
this
like
is real. This is
well,
out there. What the fuck?
I it's only because I don't want to have this lens or this ability, this superpower to see through somebody within 10 seconds. I don't want it sometimes it's a kryptonite, but I can read somebody very quickly. And I get that. Like I get that embodiment, that sensation, like, oh my God, like it really tears me up inside, right? And but then on the other side of this, Marcos, like, dude, like when I first started coaching back in like 10 years ago, whatever it was, I was in a green room and they were like completely different people. And then one person got out on the stage and said, all right, my name's Joey. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be authentic. Those are the words they said. I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, you're this other person back there. And then you go on stage and then you say, not only did you change who you were, but then you said, I'm going to be authentic with you. What? And at that point, because I was just starting, I'm like, there's no way in hell that I'm going on any stage whatsoever pretending to be anything other than who I really am. And that to me is like the most important thing of what I stand for. Like, you don't like the way that I show up and what I talk about and what my voice sounds like and what I dress and what my background looks like because it's not professional YouTube-ish. I really don't care. Don't care. It's like I show up the way I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I support you, my friend. Any last words?
Yeah, I just like we can go. There's that opened up a whole. I was like, okay, am I gonna respond to that, or am I just gonna zip?
Dude, well, dude, it's just how long you want to go, right?
No, no,
So
no. I'm already beyond my limit of like
I
what I
know.
do work wise. Like
We'll get you
I thought
back,
it was
man.
gonna be an hour. I was like, yeah, I can do an hour. Let's go. Let's go. 2 hours. Okay, okay. 3 hours. Okay, well, yeah, a lot of confidence tonight.
We'll get you back and we'll open up that can of worms, okay?
Yeah, no, I that concept, yeah, I don't want to say it because it's gonna open it up, but no,
Yeah.
honestly, Joey, I feel like we teach each other so much, and we also reaffirm so much. And a conversation like with you is like, you don't know this, but after our conversation, I wrote down on my whiteboard, I'm like, I got to build an inner circle. And I was like, the first name is Joey, the second name is Aida, the third name is Sahar. I was like, just people that I can be like honest with,
Thank
like
you, man. Thank you.
you call it a mastermind, call whatever, but it's like I just want this like little private space with people that you can be honest with, and like we can just have honest conversations. You know what I mean? Like, so you're one of those people to me that it's like our ethics align, our core values align, so we can always have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, the synergy, there's synergy there, right? So I think that's really special, and there's no pretending. Um, and yeah, like I got super triggered throughout this conversation because I'm a sensitive, energetic person that picks up on things, much like you are within the first 10 seconds. So in feeling kind of like your frustration and feeling the impact of people that have hurt your feelings, I start to feel like my feelings are hurt for you, right? So it's like there's so much energy being translated between us, right? So there's parts where I'm like, oh fuck, I'm triggered because I care, right? And then it's like I start to get the sensitivity activated, and I start to imagine like, oh, like who hurt him, or what happened, or how can I help? And again, like that's that overgiving nature that I think that both of us share. But now you and I are mature men that have boundaries, right, around that. So it's a very special process, I think, that as we both experienced in this conversation, is witnessing each other in our points of view while also protecting each other, right, so that we can remain in synergy while simultaneously still leading from the heart,
Exactly.
right? Which is like such a it's such a mass, like the value of that being natural is what I think builds friendships, where you don't have to try with people. It's just like, I fuck with you too, let's
That's
go for
right.
dinner. Sure, let's
That's
go.
that 100%. And that, to me, those are the most important relationships in my life. And thank you for being part of my inner circle, because I already, you're already in mine. Um,
Yeah.
and what I think that you were just saying to me, like, that's really important. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not, there may still be pieces of who really hurt me, but it's really, I think what you were feeling, maybe, and this is what my perception is the fact that you're feeling how I feel listening to those conversations all the time about how my clients have been hurt by other coaches and that I can't do anything about it at that point. Because the worst thing about my daily life, if you want to call it that, is the feeling of that I can't help that person
Help.
at this
Can't
point,
help.
right?
Yeah.
And it really tears me up inside, right? It was like even watching my wife give birth. I'm like, how can I help you? Like, how can I take the pain away? It was the most excruciating thing, even though it was a beautiful thing in the world. But like, I can't do anything about this. Where I know when I'm speaking to somebody in a chat or whatever, and I know I can help, but I know they're not ready, bro. And that's maybe the energy you're feeling. Because I feel that every day. And when I talk about all the things like the funnels and all this, blah, 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 and I get really angry and aggressive about it, that's the
Yeah.
energy I'm bringing to it, because that's the people that I'm trying to like solve their challenge. Anyway, I just wanted
Yeah,
to make sure that we're
yeah, no, you just like cracked it open. Like that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like if that's what you're saying it is, then that's what it is. And
yeah
I resonate with like how that is connected, you know? And yeah, like, and again, like for something you can't help, you could call me, be like, Marcos, I can't help this person. What do you suggest? That's inner circle vibes,
right.
right? But for example, for me to do that, it's a sense of vulnerability to that. It's like, fuck, I have to admit, and this person paid me all this money and I don't have the answer. Oh my God. Right? Like suppressing that is stressful, right? But releasing that and being like, well, they're not paying me because I have all the answers. They're paying me for, other things, like that. I think as entrepreneurs, as heart-centered entrepreneurs, making ourselves available to that type of support while not bringing shame as something that we're so attached to is what I think is available as a breakthrough for us.
Yeah. Bro, you're opening up so many cans of worms, man. Like we have another whole discussion here too, and that's a brilliant what you said, and I want to let you go, not because I want you to go, but I know your space, and I respect that. And what we're talking about here is again another two levels here. You're right. Like I believe what you just said is so powerful that when we're actually getting somebody to pay us, and we don't know the answer or something, to be vulnerable with not only ourselves but to the person too. Say, I don't know what the answer is for that. Like I'm gonna go find that out for you, or I'm gonna connect you with somebody who knows the answer, whatever that is. That's a level. What I'm talking about personally there on my side is when they're not even paying me yet. They're at the point where they're coming in, they're going, you're a breath of fresh air, but I'm not ready to go yet. Or they're telling me their story. And I know at that point I can help them, but they're just not at the point where I say, let's get on a call and let's do all these things. That's what frustrates me. That's what I mean. Like every day I'm seeing that. I'm seeing threads and posts and getting in conversation like, holy shit, if they just knew, but I know that they're not ready. That's the energy I'm talking about that's coming into my world that is devastating like every day. And I'm
Yeah.
and I've tried for years and years and years to try and get to those people before the crash, right? That's my mission. My mission is really how do I get to people before the crash? But right now it's how do I help people that are crashed and help them repair and get to the mountaintop, right? That's
So
basically where I am
crazy.
now.
It's so well defined. Like my thing is like, how do I get somebody to believe how do I get somebody to believe in the impossible?
Yeah.
Like how do I get somebody to believe that's like that is my mission statement, in the sense of like, how do I get you to believe that you are what I see you as? How do I get
Mm,
you there? And that's
right.
my gift. I see people's potential. I see people's power. I see the possibility in people because I'm a possibilitarian. So I can't turn it off. So when
Yep.
people receive that from me, they're like, how do you believe in me so much? It's like, you don't see, I'm like, I see it. I see it. I see it. And I can break you down and explain. And that's why as a wordsmith, it helps me because people are like, you know how to articulate things so well. Right. And it's like, that's my gift is as a possibilitarian and a wordsmith, I can use my entrepreneurialism to help you see the possibility within yourself. You know, I was like, yeah, let's fucking go.
What a way to end this one, man. You are epic, bro. I love you. I know that everybody listening to this loves you. Thank you, my
Love you.
friend,
Thank
for
you.
showing up as Marcos, and as always that you do that in the authentic way that you always are. I
Thanks, man.
appreciate you, brother. I
I
appreciate you.
appreciate you. I appreciate Kay and Lorna and all the community members. I think it was Collie as well. All you guys have been great. Thanks for encouraging us throughout this conversation. It's been really special, a very, very, very special conversation. And I hope we can do it again soon.
We will. I'll get you back. Thank you, my friend.
See you guys. Bye bye.